referrals, so you can rest assured you've got the right team to close. Not all agents are realtors. For a trusted resource, look for the R.
Tomorrow on ET, what you didn't see from last night's explosive Bachelor finale.
So many questions. There's really only one man who could answer them all. Is Chris Harrison standing right behind me?
He is.
And why Pilot Pete has some explaining to do.
I didn't do that on purpose. I was just trying to follow my heart.
Tomorrow on ET.
In our ET birthdays, which American Idol winner was a runner-up for Miss Northeastern State University?
That is Carrie Underwood, who turns 37 today.
Thank you so much for helping us out. You know you are our guy.
Happening now.
Health officials announcing the ability to test for the coronavirus right here in San Antonio. I'm Devin Clark. Coming up, we'll tell you how much it could cost, and we have the latest on evacuees landing at Lackland.
Obviously, whatever precautionary measures they need to go through.
The coronavirus in Major League Sports, the new measures teams are taking to protect the players and the public.
And it'll be pretty steamy and humid in the next couple of days, with heat index values likely in the mid-80s. I'll be back with a look ahead to the rest of your spring break and when we can expect rain in the forecast coming up.
All those offers for free trials can be enticing, but coming up, why you should be careful before you sign up.
Michigan could hold the key tonight to the Democratic nomination. Can Joe Biden keep his momentum, and will Bernie Sanders stage a comeback? Whitney Wild breaks it down for us all. The News at 5 starts right now. First at 5, we have the tests, but how likely is it that we will need them? As concerns over the coronavirus grow, Metro Health says testing can now be done right here in San Antonio.
They say with no community spread, the need is still low. But with a growing number of cases being reported across the country and a new group of evacuees from the Grand Princess cruise ship set to arrive at JBSA Lackland sometime today, it is possible that could change.
Devin Clark joining us now live from Lackland with the latest on their arrival and how the local testing for COVID-19 will work. Devin?
Well, Tim, Ursula, like you said, we do know that Grand Princess cruise ship evacuees are supposed to arrive here at Lackland today. What we don't know, though, is how many evacuees or exactly when they are going to arrive. Lackland is one of 3 military bases throughout this country receiving evacuees. They're going to be quarantined and monitored for COVID-19 based on where they live. Now, the other bases are in California and Georgia. This after roughly 20 COVID-19 cases were reported on the cruise ship that was holding around 3,500 passengers. Yesterday, Metro Health announcing that it is now capable of testing for COVID-19 right here in San Antonio. Today, we learned that the price tag could cost up to $2,400 out of pocket and vary depending on insurance and deductibles. The governor's office, though, said that it has asked health insurers to waive testing costs and low-income families should seek care at federally qualified health centers. Health officials, however, re-emphasizing that there still has been no community spread and say that in order to be tested for COVID-19, your health care provider must feel that you meet the criteria.
We definitely plead that people rule out more common infections first before using a scarce and expensive test like this. Even at our department, the capacity is limited.
And Metro Health officials also want to reemphasize how COVID-19 is transmitted. They say the best way to avoid it is by continuously washing your hands and not touching your face with dirty hands. They also say that the majority of people, 80% of people who contract COVID-19 do not show any symptoms or they have very mild symptoms. They also say that the disease most severely affects people over the age of 70. Again, we're here at Lackland waiting for this Grand Princess cruise ship evacuee cohort to arrive. We don't know exactly when, but as soon as we do learn that, we will bring that to you. For now, reporting live, Devin Clark, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Devin. Meantime, another tourism setback for San Antonio. The National Society of Black Engineers has now postponed its March San Antonio convention amid these coronavirus concerns. Visit San Antonio, which helps attract convention center bookings, says the group is one of as many as 6 it is talking with regarding the possibility of postponing upcoming March and April conventions. Last week, the Self-Storage Association canceled its March convention, citing health concerns. A Visit San Antonio spokesperson says that they have been hearing a big reason about the postponement cancellations considerations is that a lot of companies are implementing corporate travel bans on their employees.
It's really not because they want to cancel or because they have a fear of San Antonio. It's really just other corporations that are having these freezes on their employees from traveling that's really causing a lot of these cancellations.
Meanwhile, the future of the city's biggest party, Fiesta, is still up in the air. Our Garrett Berger will have details on that coming up at 6.
In a joint statement late last night, the NBA, the National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, and Major League Soccer all announced new coronavirus protocols that will limit the media's access to players and close locker rooms and clubhouses to only essential personnel.
Those new protocols went into effect today. They changed the way reporters, including our own here at KSAT 12, will cover the Spurs at practices and at games. That means tonight's game at the AT&T Center.
With more, let's take you out live to the AT&T Center where we find our Greg Simmons. Good afternoon, Greg.
Thank you, Tim and Nurse. So starting today, reporters covering the NBA, hockey, Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer cannot come within 6 feet of players, and they are barred right now from all locker rooms and clubhouses until further notice. These extraordinary measures are being put in place to try and prevent the spread of the coronavirus disease here in the United States. As we've seen soccer matches abroad play without fans, it has not come that to this point yet here in North America, but it has begun with limiting members of the media with access to the team. That included not being allowed into the Spurs practice facility today to record this morning's shoot-around, and interviews had to be conducted on a table set at least 6 feet away from reporters.
It's obviously taken the world by storm, so taking the precautionary measures, obviously, to make sure it's in place. It's obviously made a lot of noise throughout the world, so it's obviously in place to take care of us players to go out there and perform.
They told us to kind of stay away, limit our contact with the fans. They just kind of went over the disease this morning and told us what it is, what it's not, the best way to prevent it.
And as you hear from the players, according to them, there'll be no more autograph and photo sessions for the fans before games here at the AT&T Center. We'll have more on this historic night coming up a bit later in sports. Live from the AT&T Center, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
Thank you, Greg. Today we learned 10 people from Texas State University are currently under self-quarantine over possible exposure to COVID-19. This after the 9 students and 1 teacher who were all studying abroad in South Korea, Italy, Japan, and Germany were brought back to the U.S. University officials say the quarantine is out of an abundance of caution, and no one in the group is staying on campus. They have not been any cases reported in the San Marcos area. The university continuing its operations as normal. Want to stay up to date with all of our coronavirus coverage right now on KSAT.com. We have a live tracker, prevention tips, and information on how the coronavirus is being handled across the globe. Just go to ksat.com/coronavirus.
Moving on to other news, San Antonio police seeking information on the death of a 44-year-old man. According to police, Onicio Romo was found dead in a drainage ditch along I-35 near Benz-Engelman. Police believe Romo was hit by a driver around 2 in the morning. So far, no witnesses have come forward and no arrests have been made.
He threw a flashlight at cars and was suspended nearly 5 months later. In January, San Antonio police officer Ruben Ramirez was handed a 30-day suspension. Documents state in August of last year, he threw flashlights at 2 drivers while he was working a crash scene. Rodriguez was one of 8 officers suspended in January. You can read more about the other incidents right now on KSAT.com.
Voters from 6 states telling the Democratic Party today who they think should be their pick for the presidential nomination. Idaho, Missouri, Mississippi, North Dakota, Washington, and perhaps most importantly, Michigan, all hosting primaries today. Whitney Wild brings us the latest on how the delegates contest is shaping up between the remaining Democratic candidates.
Ursula, the main reason that Michigan is the most important of all of these 6 states is the math. It has 125 delegates. That is the biggest haul compared with any of these states going to the polls tonight. The question for voters is whether or not they're going to side with Joe Biden, who leads in the polls nationally and most importantly leads in the polls in Michigan, or if Michigan voters will side with the man who took their state in 2016, Bernie Sanders.
Candidates hit the ground.
Thank you very much.
Using the final minutes to lure voters in 6 states. The ballot heavyweights are former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders. It's Biden's first chance to prove he can repeat his Super Tuesday success.
If I defeat your president, you'll never have a better friend in the White House.
For Sanders, it's an opportunity to show he's in the fight for the long haul.
We are the campaign that is appealing to the aspirations and dreams of young people all across this country.
Both men battle for a flood of delegates from Idaho, Missouri, Mississippi, North Dakota, Washington, and
Hello, Detroit!
Michigan.
Ann Arbor, thank you!
A recent Monmouth University poll showed Biden with 51% support in Michigan compared to Sanders' 36%.
The nice thing about Michigan is that we are a state full of independently minded people. We always are sort of shaking things up, whether it's the primary or the general election.
Michigan is critical mathematically and symbolically. With 125 delegates, the candidates can get an important boost. It may also serve as a bellwether of where blue-collar white and African-American voters are leaning after a Trump victory in 2016 and a blue wave in 2018.
We are solidly purple, and that's why no one should ever take Michigan for granted.
In addition to those 352 delegates from the mainland U.S., there are also 13 delegates from abroad. So the grand total for today, 365. But if there's one number to remember, it's this number, 1,991. That is the number either Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders needs to hit to win that Democratic presidential nomination. And remember, the better Joe Biden does, the more difficult it is for Bernie Sanders to catch up. Ursula?
Thanks, Whitney. It'll be interesting looking at the numbers roll in tonight. Thank you.
Safe, secure, and easy. It's how the U.S. Census Bureau describes participating in the 2020 census. Invitations will be sent out to Bexar County households starting on Thursday. And up until mid-May, you'll have the option to respond online, over the phone, or by mail. After that, volunteers will start knocking on doors to encourage everyone to participate. So what is the census? Well, it helps determine how much funding states get and where the funds are allocated. Results can have a major impact on things like education, transportation, and emergency responses. That applies to things like recovering from natural disasters and even the fight against hunger. Given the current political climate, the Census Bureau is reminding people that a citizenship question is not part of the census.
What we care is that you live in this country. You contribute to this country. You shop in this country. Your children go to school in this country. You use our transportation. So yes, you need to be counted. Not being counted should not be an option because it affects you in your daily life.
You can find all this information on our website at KSAT.com. Just search the word census. And remember to look out for the census invitation, which will be mailed out starting this Thursday.
Let's take a look outside with live cam. Well, we saw the sun briefly around San Antonio, but those clouds are holding on. Just enough sunshine allowed us to warm up into the upper 70s locally in San Antonio, but some areas seeing temperatures even warmer. Let's take a look at our weather watch for temperatures today. Out in Del Rio, the temperature reported was about 75 degrees, cooler than us here in San Antonio, and that's because they had plenty of cloud cover. I'll be back in just a few minutes to talk about a warm up around San Antonio. Just like those folks out in Windcrest saw temperature near 80 degrees today. We'll be even warmer than that tomorrow. I'll be back in just a few.
Next at 5, they are tempting those online free trial offers, promising everything from grocery delivery to skin creams. Why they can be tricky. Details coming up next. They're tempting those online free trial offers, promising everything from grocery delivery to skin creams. Of course, few things in life are actually free, and as 12 on your sides, Marilyn Moritz tells us some of those freebie offers are actually designed to scam you.
Click here to get your first box free. Act now to claim your trial bottle. Claim your risk-free trial. Spoiler alert, none of these products was actually free. Fortunately, tens of thousands of people who got charged for the free products in these 3 ads got their money back, but only after the Federal Trade Commission acted.
The FTC has sued companies that have engaged in this practice of offering a free trial and then later on enrolling people into a program that they didn't approve, related to products from skin creams, dietary supplements, electronic cigarettes.
Complaints about not-so-free trials doubled between 2015 and 2017. It's not surprising that people fall for them. After all, legitimate companies offer free samples all the time. So how do you know if you're getting a deal or just getting duped?
If you're interested in a free trial offer, it's always a good practice to Google the company first and check for reviews or complaints.
Be sure to read the fine print and check to see what the process is for getting a refund or canceling.
Check the links to make sure they work. If there's a phone number, try it. Make sure there's someone at the other end.
If you do sign up for a free trial, keep any receipts, emails, or screenshots from the transaction. Be sure to note the date if you have to cancel and set a reminder. Otherwise, your credit card could be charged. Finally, have all the documentation handy in case you have to dispute any charges with your bank or credit card. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Credit card companies are responding. MasterCard's new policy requires merchants offering free trials to get your permission before hitting you with recurring charges. And next month, Visa will require merchants to remind cardholders when they're nearing the end of a trial period.
Interesting. We are at the end of, hopefully, the rain. Today was actually turning out to be pretty.
Yeah, today was pretty nice. You know, we even got to see a little bit of sunshine briefly around San Antonio after a morning of fog. Tomorrow, we'll have even more sunshine in the afternoon, and that means we'll be warmer as well. And with the humidity, a bit of a heat index, too. Let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite today. You can see that clouds blanketed the Alamo City and surrounding areas early this morning in the form of fog, but then we were gradually able to see those clouds break up. Still fairly cloudy around San Antonio, but elsewhere they're seeing tons of sunshine east of San Antonio out near Seguin. And unfortunately, areas like Del Rio and Eagle Pass, hard to see the sunshine today. Because of that, Del Rio is actually cooler than San Antonio right now, which doesn't really happen that often. Del Rio at 76, San Antonio at 78. Meanwhile, out to the east, more sunshine for Gonzales and New Braunfels, so temperatures into the low 80s there. We'll be in the low 80s ourselves in San Antonio tomorrow. It is also pretty humid outside. We have got a stout wind from the southeast, really bringing in that Gulf of Mexico humidity. Dew points are in the 60s. Now, you'll remember just a few weeks ago, we were dealing with cold front after cold front, but this humidity is going to stop cold fronts in their tracks, and we'll be looking at, honestly, just a warm forecast over the next few days. Let's take a look at the radar because there are a few sea breeze showers that have started to develop. Out close to Cuero, you can see a light shower occurring in Cuero at the moment, and even some more moderate rain to the east of Cuero itself. Moderate rain near Stratton at the moment, but no flashes of lightning to report. We've also got some showers out near Three Rivers, George West area, and you can see just right over the lake there, we've got some showers just north of Highway 72. Here in San Antonio, those showers will stay to the south, and tonight we'll have mostly cloudy skies. It'll be muggy and mild with a southeast wind at 5 to 10, and then we'll still only be in the mid to upper 60s by midnight. Around that time, we'll start to see some patchy fog develop, and then once again, we'll repeat it where tomorrow morning we'll start with patchy fog at 64 degrees. But tomorrow, I do believe that will clear out a lot quicker. That means we're going to warm up too. Some morning clouds, but by the lunch hour, we should be seeing some sunshine, partly cloudy skies in the afternoon. 83 for the high tomorrow. A very warm day tomorrow with that humidity. It'll feel closer into the mid 80s. South winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and a mild evening as well, with temperatures only falling to near 70 degrees by 10 o'clock. Let's take a look at our weather setup. Just know that over the next couple of days there are going to be a few coastal showers, but here in San Antonio we should stay nice and dry for the most part tomorrow and again on Thursday. Thursday. But as we look to the west, you can see very clearly near LA and Southern California, we've got that characteristic swirl in the upper levels of the atmosphere with a low pressure system that is expected to bring us some energy that'll make showers and storms more possible by the weekend and the start of early next week. Remember how I told you it's very humid at the surface, and that makes it difficult for cold fronts to just push through San Antonio? That's going to be the case. By Friday, there will be a front, but it's likely going to stall north of San Antonio and become a stationary boundary during the weekend around south central Texas. So with that, that's also going to kick off a few showers and few storms as well. So just summing up everything for you, pretty nice tomorrow after morning fog. It'll be warm too with a high temperature in the low 80s both tomorrow and Thursday. Then by Saturday, we start to see our rain chances tick up a little bit. Isolated on Saturday, more scattered on Sunday and Monday. But notice, no real significant cool downs in the forecast. It's not going to be unbearably warm outside. I mean, we're South Central Texans. We're used to the heat. But we'll be seeing temperatures still on the warmer side, near 80 degrees, just about every day.
Definitely spring-like.
Yes.
Thank you.
The Spurs are hosting the Mavs tonight. Greg Simmons is live courtside with a preview and more on those new coronavirus protocols. Greg?
That's right, Tim. And also we have some good news regarding the play of LaMarcus Aldridge tonight when we come back, an update on his condition here and how we are all adjusting to the new coronavirus protocols affecting not just the NBA, but 4 major sports in North America. And also when we come back, the NFL is excited to extend the deadline for franchise tags coming up. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome live to courtside here at the AT&T Center, where the Spurs return home with a 3-game road trip to play host to their I-35 rivals, the Dallas Mavericks. It's also an historic night because it's the first night of the new coronavirus protocols adopted by the NBA, Major League Soccer, Major League Baseball, and, of course, the National Hockey League. It also gets one to wonder just how long will it be before fans are not allowed to attend games. The Spurs are coming off a 3-game road trip in which they lost 2, a blowout by Brooklyn, an overtime defeat at the hands of the worst team in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And now you had DeJounte Murray among the injured after an MRI revealed he has a strained right calf muscle following the loss of the Cavs. Thanks to the new coronavirus protocol, this is how players had to address the media today following shoot-around at least 6 feet from reporters.
I don't think this is a massive distraction as compared to probably other stuff that we're going through as a team this season. And because of that, it's because we've been educated and been given knowledge about the disease and what we need to stay away from and what we need to do to be able to stay healthy. And I think when you understand and you have knowledge on the matter and on the subject, it doesn't become a distraction.
Coming into tonight's game, Mavs star Luka Doncic is listed as questionable with a sprained right wrist. We'll get an update in just a few minutes. That's after he scored a triple-double of 26 points, 14 assists, and 10 rebounds in the 109-103 victory on February the 26th here in the AT&T Center. And now look to sweep the season series for the first time in franchise history. Here's a matchup tonight. LaMarcus is a go. Lonnie Walker IV is out tonight. The Ivy League becomes the first to cancel its postseason men's and women's basketball tournaments as a result of the coronavirus. The tournament scheduled to tip off for the women in just 3 days in Cambridge, Massachusetts, has been called off, with Yale advancing the NCAA tournament for the men, and it will be Princeton for the women.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
All right, the Dallas Cowboys, as far as the rest of the league, have been granted an extended deadline, if you will, to try and work out a long-term contract agreement with their star quarterback, Dak Prescott. The reason for that is that they've also extended the time for the players to vote on the new collective bargaining agreement. That means that franchise tag deadline will have to go from Thursday to Monday now. This gives teams more time to react to the result of the players' vote on the new CBA, either in favor or against. We'll have more on the Spurs coming up in just a moment, coming up at 6. Live from the AT&T Center, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
Thank you very much, Greg.
We'll be right back. Thanks so much for watching the News at 5 with us.
World News is next. We'll see you back here for more local news at 6. Have a good evening.